Canada is quickly earning the reputation for being a tremendous poor sport, both on and off the ice, and it looks like the attitude is about to pay off. Americans no longer feel bad for Canada. They're starting to look at Canada as a nation of assholes.
Hey, fat, give me your wallet.
I could give you my wallet, but what I think you really want is love.
It's true.
I'm taking your shoes.
Times have changed, and the view of Canadians is no longer the polite neighbors to the north. The Babylon Bee putting this out saying, Canadian hockey fans boo their future national anthem. I love that they're poking back and they're pushing back, but someone who's actually changing their tune recently is this guy, national politician for the Conservatives, who ran a campaign, an anti-American campaign, in my estimates, has really changed his tune. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But let's look at the situation. Yeah, just a reminder to all the liberals crying about classless and wow, it's a government page. The Canadians booed our national anthem. Don't even boo it afterwards. They didn't boo it afterwards. They booed it during. Please, for the love of this country, just stop. Just stop what it is that you're doing, but they don't. And Canadians are really showing their cards recently. This is a national sports broadcaster guy. He does his Sports Puck show. And Bev here saying, hey, Canada, don't get all riled up about what Americans think about hockey passion.
If you're taking heat from an American buddy of yours or a coworker or Johnny lives in his parents' basement online, whoever it is, don't worry. Let it go. Don't worry. Why? Multiple reasons. The two that stand out the most begin with America enjoying their best hockey moment in 46 years, because that federation and that sport in the States has been a disgrace since
Wow, so you can't even give a congratulations. It's got to be a backhanded congratulations that America is the worst. It's a disgrace.
1980. So let them have their moment. No gold medals on the men's side. The women's side, strong. Men's side.
Because everyone loves women's sports. I mean, we could do a whole show on that part, but let's let them continue.
Side, complete joke. And you know it. Seriously, 1980. 1980. Half the roads in your town weren't built in 1980. The second reason Canadians need to...
You got beat by the team that didn't win since 1980. I mean, I got enough of this. This is the kind of thing that Canadians do, and it's really, really gross. And here's a group of hockey fans that have a podcast talking about hockey, and they talk about all these things that they love, and even this was too far for them. They were like, are you kidding me? This can't be true.
The only thing I will say, and we don't need to go to... Please, let's not go down this wormhole. I don't want to go down this where we don't need to talk about it. This will take us in a direction that none of us want to go. But the one thing that I was extremely disappointed to hear was that, who runs Hockey Canada? Catherine Henderson or something? Think it is? President, CEO? Wayne Gretzky wanted to come in and rally the troops before the game, and it was a hard no.
Wow.
Really? That's dusty.
Wayne Gretzky was told.
Hey, guys, this is from a rock-solid source. Wayne Gretzky wanted to come in and rally the troops before the gold medal game, and he was told, you're not welcome in here.
Well, that just furthers the idiocy that is Hockey Canada.
Okay. Thank you, Red.
And God bless these guys for just coming out and saying it, because this is ridiculous. Are you kidding me? Wayne Gretzky wasn't even allowed to come out and say hi to the Canadian team before they played their game. That's just crazy. Why? Because he might be a little bit too close to Donald Trump. This is the craziness that is Canada at the moment. Now, this is another sports guy who went on a rampage. This is just retarded.
Hey, we look forward to the U.S. Beating our soon-to-be 51st state, Canada. You asshole. We'll never be your 51st state. Mm-hmm. And that's got nothing to do with hockey. That's got everything to do with you motherfuckers showing up at our front door with guns and tanks and shit. Of course we're going to feel a certain type of way about that.
Oh, you're going to feel a certain type of way about that, aren't you? This is crazy. This guy is crazy. He has absolutely lost the plot. He's a lunatic. And here's the thing. Donald Trump never said he was coming with tanks and guns and all that stuff. He said he was going to put economic pressure on Canada. And he said, oh, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be amazing if Canada were to be part of the United States? And that's what he said. It was a joke. And this is the thing. Canadians pride themselves on being jokesters and being comedians. So many comedians come out of Canada. Gotta learn to take a joke, folks. You really gotta learn to take a joke. But here, this is another example of Americans that are just grown fed up with the way Canadians are talking. And we're talking mainstream Canadians. This isn't just Joe Blows on the internet blowing off steam. This is mainstream sources talking about Americans in... This is completely disrespectful.
Globe and Mail in Canada, you need to sit the F down. Sorry, I'm just doing my makeup. They said that our...
I love her subtlety. I think it reminds you something, perhaps.
Our State of the Union was a zoo, and our Team USA hockey were the monkeys. I'm sorry, are you a little salty about something? Maybe the fact that we won and you didn't? See, the Globe and Mail, sorry, let me get more blush. They thought this was an appropriate story to run. I don't know why they think they have an opinion about our State of the Union. Why are you all up in American politics, by the way? Why do you guys care so much? Don't you have your own problems? Could it possibly be that America is so amazing and interesting that all these other countries just can't get out of our business? Anyways.
Anyway, let her put her blush on. I love that. But this is the way Canadians have been acting recently. And it's been, politicians have taken advantage of this overreaction and this behavior to get themselves elected. That's right. Ran on a campaign. Mark Carney ran on the campaign of elbows up. What was elbows up? It was actually it's an analogy for cheating in hockey. That's right. Going out with your elbows up and actually injuring people on purpose for the sake of what? Winning a game? This is actually the way Canadians have thought lately. And is it paying off? Is Canada such a better place? Oh, wait, what's this? First reading, Canada more likely to mark the 100,000th maid death by summer. More Canadians are dying from assisted, can't say that on YouTube, self-deletions each year than all the world's other countries combined. Yeah, that's right. That's Canada. How well are we doing? Breaking. Canada loses 35,400 jobs in December alone. Almost all in high-paying sectors. 0 jobs have been created under Mark Carney. Zero. And almost 40% of the low number of job vacancies are now accommodations and food services. Great. I'm sure there's a fantastic career in that for somebody somewhere. Here's another great one from Wealth Moose saying, we were told that Trump is behind all the food processing costs in Canada. This is the reason why they're all going up. All our food prices are going up. Then why is Canadian beef selling at a cheaper price in the U.S.? Why is that happening? At some point, the narrative needs a reality check. And this is where we really have to come into the one guy who ran a campaign on, well, Trump derangement syndrome. Let's just be honest. Came up with this new talking point, and it seems to come out of left field. This is completely new. Just a minute ago, he was completely against the United States, and now he's all for it.
The president's talk of 51st statehood, whether it is a joke or not, is unacceptable. It goes without saying there is zero chance of Canada ever being a part of the United States. Geography is the most permanent factor in international relations. No country can call up a realtor and relocate. And the truth is, we wouldn't want...
Well, I'm sorry, but the last 100 years have told us that borders have changed all over the place. Maybe not in North America exactly, but look at Europe. Holy cow. I mean, you were just looking to Europe just a minute ago.
Want to. Canada and the United States have built probably the greatest partnership any two countries have ever built in the history of the world. That partnership remains profoundly in the interests of both our peoples and both our countries. As President Kennedy said when he was addressing the Canadian Parliament, Geography has made us neighbors. History has made us friends. Economics has made us partners. Necessity has made us allies. Those whom nature hath so joined together, let no man put asunder. That insight captures a reality deeper than any temporary dispute. Canada's prosperity and security are inseparable from a stable relationship with the United States. And that is why we should not declare a permanent rupture with our biggest customer and closest neighbor in favor of a strategic partnership for a new world order with Beijing, a regime the Prime Minister himself said was the biggest threat to Canada just a year ago.
That's very true. He did say that. And it is probably the biggest threat to Canada. And the reason why it's the biggest threat to Canada, because it risks losing the relationship with the United States. The country that, 75+% of exports from Canada go to. That's right. Not the other way around. So I would give a little correction here. The United States could survive without Canada. Now, there are some products from Canada that America could not do without and would have to go to other places. But Canada's not going to stop selling potash and things like that to the United States. That's just not going to happen. It's not in the best interest of Canada's survival. Now, I put this out on Twitter saying, why is he saying this now? Is it because the average American, they are actually starting to look at Canadians unfavorably? Did they go too far? Did they absolutely go too far with their rhetoric of anti-American sentiment? Is this why Pierre Poilievre is changing his tune from quoting famous adversaries of the United States like Lord Palmerston and belittling quotes from Churchill? Canada is about to lose all goodwill. It's absolutely true. Canada is about to lose all goodwill. And here, I just want to point this out. The speech where he quoted Lord Palmerston, where around the same time, other people were quoting Lord Palmerston. If you don't know who Lord Palmerston is, he was a British prime minister who was very much involved in meddling in U.S. affairs back in the Victorian era. It was a really interesting one to pluck out of the annals of history, but he definitely picked that one and quoted him while talking about the relationship between Canada and the United States. That was probably misguided, but it is pinned to his top of his page on Twitter, on X. That's still there. That still exists. And let me just say, this is a quote that he gave when he kicked off his campaign as the leadership of the Conservative Party. This is what he had to say.
As Winston Churchill said, though, you can always count on the Americans to do the right thing after exhausting all other possibilities.
The Americans, not the president of the United States. He went right after all of Americans. And I would like to say, Pierre Poilievre, you've exhausted all other possibility, and now you're looking for a friendship with the United States. I'm glad to see it. I'm absolutely glad to see it. And here you gave some other commentary at that same presser when he was asked directly about it.
What I take from your speech is that you're very calm. You have a very calm tone when it comes to talking about the United States. But Canadians are pretty angry about what's happening. So why aren't you angrier about this?
Well, because what would that do? Would that get the auto worker in Windsor working again?
No.
Would it allow people to put food on their table in Hamilton or the Sioux?
Nope.
We have to focus on what we can do.
Sault Ste. Marie, by the way, is where Algoma Steel is, the very, very large steel plant, which Donald Trump has been putting a lot of energy into pulling away from. Getting U.S. companies to instead look at American steel alternatives.
And what we can control, that's all we can do. We can't control what the president has, and this is, by the way, something that Mark Carney has said, and I agree with him. He has said that we cannot control what the U.S. president says or does. We can control what we do on this side of the border in our own national interest. And by focusing on what we can control, then we can determine our own destiny.
Wow, wouldn't that be a different approach than we had before? We had what we had before was Pierre Poilievre going over and over again, spouting the same stuff that Mark Harney was saying, a lot of the same stuff that Doug Ford was saying, and now we have a clear departure from that. Is this going to play out differently in future elections? Donald Trump said Pierre Poilievre is stupidly no friend of mine. Is that going to change? National Newsweek saying Pierre Poilievre lays out a vision for Canada-U.S. relations. It says no permanent rupture between the two countries. That is a much better outlook on things. Personally, in my opinion, I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section down below. Well, it's no shock that Canadians don't like the tariffs, but if they didn't like tariffs and they thought they were that bad, actually, they wouldn't have been using tariffs on the United States of America for the past 80 years. President Trump has a different plan, though. It's to use the tariffs as a replacement for the income tax. If you want to learn more about that, click this video right here. We'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.